registered with a new user in this registration page, we go back, we entered here information about Edward, and then we navigated to the profile page for the newly registered person. We'd like to be able to have some logic in there that if that user already exists, you should not navigate from the registration page. You should stay in the registration page and perhaps give it an error message. So to do that, what we could do is that once the server receives the request to create a new user, what we might want to do is first look up that user. If the username already exists, then respond perhaps with some message, and only create it if that user does not exist. So what we can do here is first look up that user. Right? We could say user dot find one. We know that these are unique, right? And so we can filter on the username. Let's say that there's user name filter with the user that comes in from the request in the body. Right? We're going to say user.username, and presumably this will only be just one user, right? So let's say either respond with an error or an actual existing user. So in here, what we might do is if the existing user is null, then that means that the user does not actually exist, and we can safely create that brand new user. Let's paste that code in here, and we'll respond with a newly created user. Otherwise, if it is different than null, what we're going to do is we're going to say, well, the user already exists. We'll respond with null, saying, nope, sorry, that new user was not, we weren't able to create that new user you requested, and we'll interpret that as an unsuccessful creation of a user. So we can go back to the controller and we can look at the response, right, and see if the response is not null, then we'll navigate to, we'll store the current user from response, and then we'll navigate to the profile. Otherwise, it must, there was something went wrong, right? The user already existed, and what we might do is send a message to the user, to the UI, saying message, right? And we might say that we'll interpret it as user already exists. So we can go back to the view, registration view. And down below here, we could add a message. That's what we call it, message. There it is. And it's inside of the controller. There we go. So let's try that. We had recently registered as Edward. Let's try it again. So let's register again as Edward. Let's try it again. And what we do, we never restart this server. We need to restart the server. Try again. We probably actually did insert all those Edwards. Yeah. So let's remove. Let's say db.user.remove anybody who's called Edward. Username Edward. There were 3 that were removed. So look at who's still there. We still have Bob. We have Charlie. We'll say Dan. Okay, so let's try with Dan. Okay. So let's go back to the registration page. Okay. Let's reload that and let's try with Dan. Register. Okay, there it is. So it says user already exists. If instead, if you refresh and say instead, let's see, Dan, Charlie, Dan, Frank. So we don't have an Edward now. So let's try Edward. So register. Okay, and now it goes to the profile because Edward does not exist. So anyway, so that's an easy way that that you can use MongoDB to check, for the existing of the user and properly display an error message to the user.